Hey everybody out there, this is Bariatric Burnie, coming for a third week at you. Um, just wanted to say hi because obviously we're leading off the video this week, and here's a little recap of the past couple of weeks. First week, why I am, what I am, who I am, where I was, where I came from, all that. Second week, got a little bit into what I take for the pre, intra, and post nutrition supplements, in other words. So nothing fancy. And if you notice, things look a little bit different this week. It's because I'm actually down in my basement. Um, the shirt that you got behind me, there we go. That was a little program that I come up with when I was doing commercial sales for Ford, for Police Ford, in fact. It was a Toys for Tots drive, just something I was proud of. I snagged that T-shirt. We had them made up, and basically what we did was it was called the Fill a 550 event, which we took an F550 dump truck and we outfitted it with different coloring. Our GM, really nice guy, loves doing the community stuff. Um, he got everything set up as far as letters, and I ordered some chintzy stuff off Amazon to kind of put a few light bulbs and Christmas decorations on it. And what we did was drove it around. Then, as we progressed, my GM decided to start kind of calling people out, almost like the ice bucket challenge. And that led to a lot of people just coming in, dropping big time presents for the kids. Everything stayed on Cape. It went to Toys for Tots. Just something I was proud of, but that's what you see behind me. I know the picture's reversed. It's just what I do with my phone. It makes it easier because I can see myself, and there you go. But it's my makeshift office. I wanted to use a little bit more, but COVID happened, and you lose one job, and then you lose another job because of it, and just didn't work out, which is okay. I landed on my feet like I normally do, and here I am today. So hey, it's not such a bad thing. So this week I wanted to dive into nutrition and basically what I eat, because I am different than anybody else. And what I mean by that is not because of the surgery or anything like that. It's because I like certain foods, just like other people like certain foods. Um, for instance, here you go. Here's one. I am a carnivore. I love meat. I love potatoes. I love, well, meat. My wife is a vegetarian. My son is a vegetarian. And we we don't see eye to eye on food. However, they're both very healthy. I'm getting healthier, and that's just what I do. I love steak. I love chicken. I love barbecue as well. I can get into that for a long time. Oh, excuse me, I'm getting a little squeaky over here. I love barbecue, and I have a nice Traeger grill, and I also have a nice Weber kettle that I use for charcoal. It's fantastic. I love making ribs. I love pulled pork, and shotgun shells, if anybody's had those. Of course, all of that stuff, you're usually piling on barbecue sauce, honey, brown sugar, butter. That's why the stuff tastes so good. And I try to avoid that stuff as much as I can because I know that I want to eat it all the time, and um, well, it's awesome, and it's kind of tough to say no. But leading into nutrition this week, what do I eat? And what do I eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, stuff like that? Well, I can tell you this. There are a couple staples in my diet that, oh, excuse me, I got a little bit of an itchy head here, that um, will never ever go away. Number one, this stuff, good old H2O. And the reason that will never go away is because you need it. Like I had said last week, you need your muscles to be hydrated in order to build. And also, it's just fantastic for flushing your system. The Beast, Eddie Hall, who won the strongman competition one year. And also, last time I knew, I don't know if it's been broken, but he held the record for deadlift, which he deadlifted over 1,000 pounds. Absolutely incredible. The guy was he was a beast. But I do follow him on YouTube. He's a funny guy. Him and Brian Shaw, Brian is 4-time World's Strongest Man winner. The two of them, they're really funny. If you get a chance, go check out either of their channels. You can just type in their names, Eddie Shaw and I'm sorry, Brian Shaw, and so those guys I like their diets because they eat a lot of high calorie, they eat a lot of meat, they eat a lot of rice, and I kind of fall into that category, which is very similar to a true bodybuilder's diet. The difference between those two guys is basically the amount that they eat. The strongmen, they're strongmen. They need the calories. They need a ton of protein per day in order to build up and to get to the spot where, like Eddie Hall, can deadlift 1,000 pounds. He did it for 1 rep. The video, blood starts coming out of his nose. I mean, the guy, I couldn't do it. Obviously, I'd fall over and keel. I'd die. So, but that's his thing. And then Brian Shaw, his biggest thing, I think, was always the keg toss, which is where you swing a keg between your legs and then toss it over your head, and whoever throws it the highest wins. Probably, technique-wise, I'm guessing it's because he's so tall that he could get much more of a swing area between his legs. I know it sounds a little bit dirty, but that's what it is. But those guys I follow, and I took bits and pieces of what they do. Eddie Hall, one of his things is he likes to drink water, about 1 liter of water when he gets up first thing in the morning, to flush out lactic acid, to flush out everything. That's very similar to what I do. I just can't take 1 liter of water, so I'm drinking constantly per day. Like I had said, I do about 96 ounces worth of water, fluid ounces worth of water. And then, usually every morning for breakfast, I start my day with my vitamins, which I went through those last week. So it's the ashwagandha, it's the B12, the D3, the Flintstone multi. And then the first thing I eat is a Quest bar. It's the double chocolate chunk, which at this point, because I don't eat much sugar, it tastes like a candy bar to me. And I love chocolate. But the biggest thing, and I'll get to this a little bit later, as long as I remember, of course, is that it has chocolate chips in it that when I bite into them, it provides some crunch to it. And one of the big things with anybody on any sort of diet where they're trying to do either a body recomp or build up muscle, on a bulking phase, everything is mush. And trust me, I'll get into that a little bit more. So I start off with that, and then about an hour later, the next thing that I'm going for is usually 2 eggs. Hard-boiled eggs. I buy the Vital Farm pasture raised because they're quality egg. Now, for a quality egg, you pay the price. I go to Market Basket, which is just down over the bridge on the Cape, or I can hit one up in North Plymouth from my house. Doesn't really matter. Either way, it's the same price. But a dozen eggs of the Vital Farms, you're looking at about $7 for a dozen. And it's actually more expensive if you go to Stop and Shop or Shaw's if they carry them. I know Shaw's does. I don't know about Stop and Shop because I just don't go in there because I think the prices are terrible. But those eggs, they taste awesome. Big yolks, yellowish, packed full of everything you need. A lot of people have said over the years that they're the perfect bodybuilding food. They have all 9 essential amino acids. Then on top of that, they have good fats. They have cholesterol. A lot of people are afraid of it. I'm starting to learn that cholesterol isn't such a bad thing, and I know there's obviously two good. There's a good cholesterol, there's a bad cholesterol. However, the thing is with it is that your body, if it doesn't need the nutrient or cholesterol or anything else, usually your body will fire it right out, and that's where the drinking the water comes in. So, um, call me crazy. Maybe I'm 100% wrong. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything about this, and I'm learning as I go. However, you see these bodybuilders and you see these strongmen, you see these guys who are professionals in what they do, they're eating eggs. And they're eating eggs, I'm talking 6 at a whack or 8 at a whack. Or some guys, the strong men, they could be eating a dozen a day. So I don't see them dropping dead of cholesterol problems. Now, maybe it might happen quite a few years down the road, but as of right now, because their body is using it and getting rid of what it doesn't, or it's using what it needs, it's not hurting them. So it's just something to keep an eye on because you never know. And all these studies that come out, sometimes they say, "Oh, this is good for you," and then 2 years later, "Oh, it's bad for you." And they've done this with butter, they've done this with cholesterol, they've done this with fats. So basically, try it out. Be the guinea pig. It's not that big of a deal. I'm only eating 2 hard-boiled eggs a day. They're easy to get down. They taste fantastic, and they're easy to pack in my lunchbox. So after the eggs, at some point I'll eat a banana. Banana's loaded with potassium. It's got some sugar in it. It's a quick energy shot. Low calories. They taste super sweet to me. Again, because of the lack of sugar that I take in. Then what I do is I move to my meatballs. And a lot of people are going to be saying, "Oh, wait a second, meatballs? You're eating ground red meat?" Well, yeah, I am. However, it's not cow. It's it's definitely not cow. It's venison or deer, depending on where the heck you come from in the country. And what I had found out, because when I was walking through Shaw's one day, I found this package and it said ground venison. I said, "Oh," I said, "I've had venison before. Let's see what happens." Well, because of buying it at a place like Shaw's, it has a nutrition label on it because obviously it's packaged, and it's actually farm raised and it's down out of New Zealand, which none of that really matters to me. What matters to me is that I can look and read on the package and say, okay, for this size serving, I get these macros. And it turns out that venison is extremely macro awesome that's kind of what I say, because it's low calories, which the calories per serving, which is 4 ounce, is comparable to chicken. It's about 10 to 15 calories more than chicken, depending on what cut of chicken you get. It's only about 5% fat, which is awesome because the less fat, the better. Then the protein is right around 24 grams per 4 ounces, which is fantastic. And that's right around where your chicken is, depending on whether it's a chicken thigh, a chicken breast, chicken tenderloin. And those things really help out hitting your macros while not going over on your calories for the day. I'm right around 1,800 calories. So in order to get to those 1,800 calories, I kind of budget, I guess you could say. So I know exactly what I'm putting in because I weigh everything, I track everything, and now I've gotten into that groove and that routine of, okay, I know what it is. So with the venison, the venison meatballs, there we go. What I do with those is I actually add in a package of turkey bacon, which it's a 8 ounce package of Applegate Farms uncured turkey bacon. you're looking at about 30 calories a slice. So I add in the whole package. Then I add some grated cheese to it. I add in some breadcrumbs to it. And I add a few other ingredients, being chili powder, smoked paprika, salt and pepper, of course. And then basically I just mush it up, make meatballs out of it. The meatballs, they're about 2 to 2.5 ounces pre-cooked weight. And all I do is I have my food scale, and I put the bowl and I grab the scoop, and if it's 2.3, that's fine. If it's 2.5, that's fine. If it's 2.1, that's fine. It's all because I'm eating these throughout the entire week. So it doesn't matter if I have a few extra calories on Monday versus Wednesday, because it all adds up to the same amount at the end of the week. And that's one of the, I'm not gonna say tricks to it, but understanding that, oh my gosh, if you went a little bit, let's say 20 calories more because it has zero point 0.3 ounces extra, who cares? Because at the end of the week, whether you're eating that then or you're eating it later, you're still eating it, and it all is the same no matter what. So folks out there, don't get worried about, oh my gosh, it's not adding up perfectly. This is life. This isn't, it's not perfect. As I had said last week, I don't live on a piece of paper like the doctors wanted me to, where I have to sit down and eat for a half an hour, 45 minutes, and chew my food slow. It just doesn't work that way. So, and by the way, those meatballs are fantastic. I would not recommend taking the venison and just frying it by itself to make like a ground venison and rice. I've done that. Tastes terrible. It almost tastes burnt because of the lack of fat. Oh, and I also, in those meatballs, I do add some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. I don't measure it. I don't take into account perfect with it, because at the end of making those meatballs, so the meatballs basically, just to recap, it's a pound of meat for the venison, then a half a pound of the turkey bacon. And I also add lighter fat cheddar cheese, which it's like 80 calories for 28 grams, I think it is. Really fantastic stuff too. Tastes great. But when I put in the olive oil, I don't normally eat anything short of my chicken thighs that has fat or a large amount of fat. Well, olive oil is good fats. It's spectacular for you. It's not to be afraid of. And when you have a meat that is that lean, you have to add some fats to it to help the meatballs congeal together, but also it helps to keep it a little bit more moist. So, yes, I know it's a little bit scary, but don't be afraid of good fats like that. If you're adding mayonnaise, no, bad idea. But extra virgin olive oil or other olive oils, or a lot of people are doing coconut oil as well. All of those are okay. So don't be afraid of it. So, moving on. As I go through the day, that's basically my morning lunch. So it's the Quest bar, the eggs, the banana, and my venison meatballs. Then somewhere between 12 and 1, I start getting hungry all over again, because I'm moving around all day doing work. So what I do is I have a pre-made lunch box. I don't even know what the heck to call them. They're just plastic Tupperware. There we go, Tupperware. And all it is that I've got my sweet potato, which the only way I make sweet potatoes is I take 2 of them each week, I put them in the oven, and I let them cook until they're done. Not really that hard. You gotta be Emma Lagasse over here. So those go in. That varies by weight. That's anywhere from, it could be 80 grams for each serving for me, or it could be up to like 120. It depends on the size of the actual potato, and I've got to search. I probably look like a weirdo when I'm at the supermarket. I'm the guy that's looking for a potato that's about the other size of another potato, so that when I cook them, they cook evenly. So I don't have to leave one in and almost burn it to hell. So that's one component. And what that is that's a starchy vegetable. Awesome on carbohydrates, awesome on taste. It's so sweet. I don't add anything to it. Some people said, well, add some brown sugar, add some butter to it. I don't want to do all that because that's stuff that I don't need, I can't control, and this stuff tastes sweet and smooth as is. So that goes in. Then I have a layer of rice, which I use jasmine rice, and I do 25 ounces. Yes, 25 ounces, which that's basically a half a serving of rice. And I do that because it's really all that I need. And I'll explain why in a little bit. So there's the rice. Then I add about 4 ounces of ground turkey. If you buy ground turkey, you'll notice you think that you're just buying a pound of it. Well, it's actually like a pound and like almost a third. And I didn't realize that until I was buying it. I'm like, how the heck am I getting 4 ounces of cooked ground turkey and I got stuff left over? Duh. It's because once I looked at the package, I said, oh, well, I guess it's got extra. I didn't realize that. But I buy the 99.1 or 99%, 99% turkey slash 1% fat. Some people would buy like 80-20 ground chuck. Well, they do the same thing with turkey. They add fat to it, and I go with the leanest cut possible. And some people say, well, it dries out. It doesn't taste good. Okay, well, that's you. That's not me. I fry it in my big old wok, and I throw in a bunch of garlic like fresh garlic. No, it's not really fresh. It's out of a can. The amount of garlic that I use, I am not going to sit there and put it through a peeler and do all that jazz. So I buy the jars of already minced garlics where you just unscrew the top, grab a scoop, throw her in, done. So I throw that in, then I actually add more garlic. So I add garlic powder, I add onion powder, and pepper, and maybe some salt. It depends, because it has salt in it. And if I have less salt, that's not always a bad thing, because that's a very tough little thing to track, and some people are sensitive to it. Salt is great for the pump at the gym. Salt is great for electrolytes, obviously, because it's one of them. But I just don't want too much. So I understand that the salt in it, no big deal. And literally, there's a little over, it's like 4.3 ounces of the ground turkey in there. Then I have 4 ounces of chicken thighs, boneless, skinless. I buy the Bell & Evans air chilled, which I can tell you wholeheartedly, they taste better than regular store bought chicken thighs. And here's what the difference is with these air chilled things. I had never knew it, but I looked at the package one time and I'm like, okay, well, they're freeze dried. And I was like, wait, no, they're not freeze dried. They're packaged what looks to be like freeze dried, where the package is all sucked into it, which is usually great for freezing because that just takes out all the air and it adds a layer of protection so you can put them in the freezer and keep them longer. But I did a little bit of research, which, in other words, I went on Google. And I checked out what air chilled chicken was. And I started learning that when chicken is cooled so that it can be moved after it has been harvested, in other words, they chop the head off the chicken, defeather the bitch, and throw it in, and you're getting your cuts of meat. Now it's going to cool down. Well, instead of a giant vat of water, cold water in other words, that they use for chilling the chicken before they package it, Instead of that, it goes through a series of coolers that cool the chicken instead. So, right there, that's where you get your price difference. Air chilled chicken for a pound of it is somewhere around $11. Actually, I'll take that back. It's about, uh, I should have looked at the goddamn label before I started talking about this. But that's upstairs. I'm downstairs. The the actual price is probably about $5 to $6 per pound versus water chilled chicken, which you'll know what that is because anytime you walk in any of the supermarkets, it's usually like a Market Basket label or Stop and Shop label or Shaw's label. And then it's got the diaper that's in the bottom that soaks up any extra water that the chicken is sitting in. I'm sure you've all seen it. It's got that like pink weird coloring to it. That's because when the water chills the chicken absorbs the water. Well, that means it's absorbing whatever is there. And then when they package it, they put that diaper in there to soak up the water that comes out of it. So you're actually paying for extra water, which the price difference is actually enough that you go, well, who cares? It's water. But the chicken, instead of $5 to $6 a pound, it's $2 to $3 a pound, or maybe 3 to 4. I'm not even sure. I It's what I like to eat, so I don't really check the prices. But the air chilled chicken, I did because I was like, what is this stuff? So I bought that a couple weeks ago. I started eating it, and I was blown away. It's a different texture. It's a different taste. It just seems more high quality on every facet that is imaginable. And I know we're talking about chicken thighs, and it's like, it's chicken thighs. It's all the same. You eat the same stuff. When you do eat the same stuff, you do notice the differences in this. And I've noticed it, and I love it. So that's a little tutorial on regular chicken that you can find for cheaper money or air chilled chicken, and it's Bell and Evans. I think I said that before that I use. So it's fantastic. I would say if you want, you buy one package, try it out, and maybe there's depending on where you are, there's different manufacturers of it. So just try it out. Just buy one package. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. What the hell's the harm in it? So that's basically my lunch that lasts me from about noontime all the way through when I get home, which is usually around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, depending. And obviously I can stretch it out or I can shorten it, but it has great macros. And I'm trying to be balanced throughout the day. And then once I get home, on gym days, this is where you gotta realize that these are gym days. I throw in an extra meal, and that extra meal is usually oatmeal, and it's just quick oats, Quaker oats, quick oats, which are the 1 minute. You got steel type, you got I don't know buzzsaw or some other junk. I don't even know. However, this stuff that I like to buy, you can throw it in the microwave with water for 1 minute, and it's cooked and it's ready to eat. So it's a no-brainer. Well, what I've been doing, I've been experimenting a little bit because I love dessert type foods and I love certain food taste profiles. One of the things that I love is apple pie, apple cinnamon donuts, which I just what I like. So I make an oatmeal with one serving, which is 40 grams of oats, with one serving of unsweetened applesauce. So it's basically just they mash the potato. Wow, listen to me. They mash the apple, put it in a jar. There you go, done. And cinnamon. Cinnamon tastes awesome. It's good for you. There you go. Another variation that I do is the same thing, the Quaker Oats, which is 40 grams per serving. And I throw in about 100 grams worth of wild blueberries from Maine. You can find them in the frozen section. I think they're called Wildmans, and they're out of Maine. They're actual Maynards, and they're small little blueberries. Fantastic. They taste awesome. They're very sweet, and same thing. Blueberries. Throw some cinnamon on. Mix it up. Eat it. It's awesome for digestion. It has plenty of fiber, and it sits well in my stomach before I go to the gym. I try to eat that an hour before I go. Then once I go to the gym, I do my workout. I got my, pre, intra, and post workout drinks. Then what I do, hold on a second. Thank you very much. Bear with me. I'm talking so much, it's just get a little bit dried out. Then what happens is, once I get done from the gym, and I think a lot of people are gonna just call me an idiot on this one, but you're entitled. Literally. I get home and I eat a bag of Quest chips. And I eat the hot and spicy ones. Or I eat the chili lime ones. Those are the only two flavors I really love. It's crunchy. And I crave crunch. Not like Captain Crunch. Not like Pac-Man crunching ghosts. I love sustenance that's crunchy. Because, and like I had said earlier, I was going to touch on this. Everything I eat is mush. The eggs are mush. The ground turkey is mush. The chicken is mush. The rice is mush. The sweet potatoes is mush. Everything is mush. So you need something, or else you're going to go crazy to offset all that. I don't want to eat pretzels, even though pretzels are pretty good for carbs. You don't get a lot of bang for your buck out of them. So the Quest protein chips I absolutely love. I think it's like 19 grams of protein, maybe even 20, for about 140 calories, a little bit over an ounce bag. They're fantastic. I eat those while I'm drinking my post-workout drink because they go hand in hand. It's one of those things that makes me feel normal like I used to before the surgery. So maybe it's a little bit of a mind thing, but it's what I like. So that's what I'm going to do because that's what works for this guy. May not work for everybody else, but that's just me. So take that advice or leave it. But without something crunchy, I'll go nuts. So, which maybe I'm already nuts, who knows. So now as I get into dinner time, and we're talking, I'm eating dinner somewhere around 8 o'clock. I usually have one of a couple things. I either have a bunch of ground turkey that I made extra, and I'm mixing peas and carrots with it. You grab the bags of frozen peas and carrots, you cook them, and then you put them in with that, and bam, you got like a ground turkey bowl. And spoon it up, have a nice day. Or I can take that ground turkey, I can make tacos. I have shells that are carb balanced shells. Who the heck makes them? I don't know. You can find them all over the place. Old El Paso or somebody like that. They're the soft shells. They're 6-inch, and they're carb balanced. And what you do is, I just eat 2 or 3 of them, and they're like 25 calories each. So if I want 3 of them, it's 75 calories. It's not breaking the bank. And they do the little trick, and this is something that you got to do your own research on because I'm not 100% sure. They do the trick, and they say that they're 0 carb or carb balance. What they do is they take fiber minus carbohydrates, and they zero the carbs out because of that. I don't know if that really works or not. It's still kind of debatable, so do your own research on it. But they taste good. They're dirt cheap as far as calorie goes, so I'm going to take it and run. So I could make tacos with those, or I could make quesadillas with those, or I could take extra chicken that I have. That could be chicken breast. Like this week in particular, I got chicken tenderloins. They are They have the least amount of calories for the most amount of protein that I found in the chicken world. I love chicken thighs because of the fat. The flavor is fantastic, but the tenders I want to do so that I can have something at night that has a ton of protein, but not a ton of calories. And then I also have a meal of ground chicken meatloaf that I made, which that's nothing but a little bit of shredded cheese, some flavorings. I use not actual eggs. I use the egg whites out of the bottle, which are fantastic because they have more protein than a standard egg and approximately, I would say, almost a sixth of the actual calories that real eggs have. So it's fantastic. It's one of the staples in the bodybuilding world. And like I said, I'm not a bodybuilder, but everybody that I've been watching, there you go. They use that stuff. They eat that stuff. They live on it. So I have that at night with rice, which is, again, 25 grams pre-cooked. And as far as dessert, I guess you could call it, which is basically my last meal of the night, I'm usually eating a couple rice cakes. I love the chocolate ones. The white cheddar are awesome. Caramel as well. And those are all fantastic sources of carbohydrates. However, it doesn't have a ton of calories. The chocolate ones come in the most calories, which is 60 calories per rice cake. Well, I eat two of them. I'm totally fine with that. And maybe I'll put on some PB Fit, which if anybody's had it, they know exactly what it is. It's powdered peanut butter, where however their process is, they basically beat down the peanuts, remove the fat and oil, give you the powder, you mix a little bit of water, get it up, there you go, done. So that's what I eat on a normal day. And at the end of the day, my macros, basically calorie wise, I'm between 18 and 1900 calories because I've gone up a little bit as I've dropped the weight so I can bulk up. Or maybe I'm not bulking per se, but I'm retaining the muscle much better. So I'm kind of like a piece of clay where it's, chopping a little here, chopping a little there, and all of a sudden what you've done is starting to come out. So it's a work in progress, like everybody else in this world. But that's pretty much how I eat. And yes, here we go. Cheat days. Yes, I do have cheat days. And I try to break it up into cheat meals because I don't want to eat too much crap. So I don't buy stuff in the house. If I want to have my cheat meal, I'm going out for it. My favorite thing right now is Boston cream pies from a little place that's down the road, little bakery. They're fantastic, but they're small. They stand about, I don't know, 6 inches tall, and they're, about well, actually, this is pretty good. They're about the size of a hockey puck. This is my Bruins business card holder. Quite nice. But anyways, it tastes awesome. And maybe if I go to the bar, I'll have some fried food of some sort. Fried food is starting to do a number on my stomach, which means that I'm not used to it, which is great, which means I'm used to eating clean. So that's what I like to do. That's what I like to eat. Food is fuel. That's how I think of it. And if I want to fuel myself, I have to eat the best food. And that's why I try to stick with high protein, low fat, and carbs are higher than my protein on some days. And basically, at the end of the day, I can't believe I got off topic yet again. Crazy, huh? At the end of the day, my macros, as I was saying before I started, between 18 and 1900 calories. My fats are usually somewhere the 50 to 70 gram range. My carbohydrates are anywhere from 170 to 200 grams, and my protein is somewhere around 170 to 190 grams. And if you break that down as far as building muscle goes, most people say you need anywhere from zero point 0.8 to 1.2 grams per body pound in order to gain muscle. Um, Everybody's different, so I don't know which range I'm on right now. The way everything works out with my current weight, I'm somewhere around like 0.79 per grams per pound of protein. So, and it's working. I can see the difference. And of course, as I drop body fat, that's what helps. And if anybody sees me on Facebook, they know that I don't mind showing off a little bit every once in a while. And it's because looking at me, it makes myself proud. I guess you call it being a narcissist. I'm definitely not that into me. I do make fun of myself. I think it's something that's very healthy for everybody. And I call myself a fat ass every now and then, which is funny because the guys at work that I work with, I'm weighing less than them at this point, which I think is pretty comical. Uh, they don't always find that funny, but we're guys out on a job site. This is what we do. But a little side note here. It's fantasy football year, well, time of year, and I got my draft tomorrow. It's a keeper league. I've been in it for quite a few years, and I have a lot of fun with it. Hopefully, I'll win it this year because, well, I'll keep you up to date each week. That'll kind of be like a little side bonus that we get to deal with. But I think I've talked your ear off pretty well if you're still around for this. Hopefully, I can get some more subscribers. What I did was I fixed so that people should be able to comment down below. So if you guys got any questions or anything, feel free to ask. Like I said, I'm an open book. I'm more than happy to talk. If anybody wants to contact me, just do it through the YouTube channel, and we can definitely gab a little bit. But I think that's really about it. Hopefully everybody out there is doing well. And we're coming to the end of the summertime, so I don't know how much longer I can be wearing these tank tops. I guess as long as it stays warm, or maybe I'm gonna have to start going fake baking. Who knows? But I don't think I've gotten that bad in life. But I hope everybody has a nice day out there. And other than that, guys, stay safe, and we'll catch you next week. Thank you. Bye.